From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, July 13th, 2016. Silver is trading at $20.40 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,341 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $668. Antiwar.com reports related to a complaint filed with the Israeli Justice Ministry. Reports out of the Israeli border police deployed in occupied East Jerusalem reveal that police in that department repeatedly and deliberately took actions designed to provoke a violent response from Palestinians to justify a further crackdown on them. The attorney who filed the initial report noted he finally got 10 reports out of the area and that they all noted police initiated friction activity, with police in the reports openly describing actions they took specifically to create friction with residents of the Arab village in the area. Israeli civil rights groups blasted the revelation, with one lawyer for such a group saying the actions totally contradict the role of the police and showed a serious disregard for human life in the occupied territories. The complaint was initially filed based on a January 6th incident in which border police entered a village and shot a 12-year-old boy in the head with a sponge bullet, putting him in a coma. Police defended this action and others, insisting their actions preserve the security and welfare of the public. If you're fed up with the government running every aspect of your life, but you're not listening to the Lava Flow podcast yet, what's wrong with you? Go right now to thelavaflow.com/listen. The Lava Flow podcast, channeling the flow of information to the libertarian, anarcho-capitalist, voluntarist, and agorist community. Subscribe today using any podcatcher at thelavaflow.com/listen, or just go back to sucking up to the government. The Lava Flow podcast, striking the root every episode. UPI reports Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders officially endorsed Hillary Clinton, his Democratic rival, for the presidential nomination, ending what began as a long-shot campaign that exploded into a liberal political revolution. The announcement came Tuesday in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, a state Sanders won handily in the primary, and which will be a battleground in Clinton's general election efforts against Republican Donald Trump. Sanders had, in effect, lost the nomination contest many weeks ago when, before the California primary, multiple media outlets reported Clinton had gained the number of delegates needed to clinch the nomination, thanks to superdelegates coming to her side. Still, the liberal firebrand Sanders did not relent, pledging to campaign until all the votes were cast, and even after that. After a closed-door White House meeting with President Barack Obama, a defiant Sanders said he was still not dropping out of the race, and standing in front of the White House portico told reporters he would continue campaigning until the Democratic convention in Cleveland. That changed on Tuesday when Sanders formally endorsed Clinton and encouraged his impassioned supporters to vote for her in November. The political effects of Sanders' endorsement is not yet clear. Polls have shown up to 1 in 4 Sanders supporters said they would not vote for Hillary in the general election. Sanders seemingly spoke directly to those individuals during his endorsement speech, repeatedly using words like listening, believes, and understands when describing Hillary's positions on his agenda. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports for the first time a federal judge has suppressed evidence obtained without a warrant by U.S. law enforcement using a stingray. U.S. District Judge William Pauley in Manhattan on Tuesday ruled that defendant Raymond Lambus's rights were violated when the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration used a device without a warrant to find his Bronx apartment. The DEA had used a stingray to identify the apartment of Lambus as the most likely location of a cell phone identified during a drug trafficking probe. Pauley said doing so constituted an unreasonable search. Pauley wrote, absent a search warrant, the government may not turn a citizen's cell phone into a tracking device. The ruling marked the first time a federal judge had suppressed evidence obtained using a stingray, according to the American Civil Liberties Union, which, like many privacy advocacy groups, had criticized law enforcement use of such devices. Stingrays, also known as cell site simulators, mimic cell phone towers in order to force cell phones in the area to transmit pings back to the devices, enabling law enforcement to track a suspect's phone and pinpoint its location. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.